All right, good evening, everybody. We are going to call to order the city council work session for Tuesday, June 16th. First item is West Metro Fire Rescue District, the 2027 budget. So Josh, I'm assuming you're gonna take the lead.
I am gonna cry. Mayor, council members. This PDF, this. All right, so we're gonna review the 2027 operating and capital budgets. Remember, our budgets are together. So this increases for both of them. We're gonna assess the key financial changes from 2026, our strategic policies and our long-term capital sustainability. And prepare for a formal budget process that will happen later this year. We have to adopt it. Usually it's around August. So for 2027, our total revenue or budget would be $4,231,000. General operating is $3,600,000. And the biggest change is a capital contribution reduction from $400,000 to $100,000. And mainly what that is we had a budget carryover, 25 of $300,000, which means we came in budget and carrying that over, which is funding and capital. Our engine lease increases. This will be the last step to $287,000 for all four of those new engines. And then our overall increase is $216,000. If you look at the very back of this, it is 51% is New Hope and 49% is for roughly $100,000 increase to the city, or just shy of 5%, which is quite a bit lower than what we originally planned. Personnel remains our largest operational expense. That's the full-time staff and the paid on call. Our regular salaries are increased, are tied to our staffing and our operational demands. So that is both of those, and this is built in having the three safer positions continue in 2027. Our part-time staffing increase, and this is for a response model of how we kind of changed the firefighters responding rather than just when they're available after shifts, working well. Communications technology, as you guys know, across the board, it's just constantly costing everybody more money to do this stuff. And then our health insurance, they told me to expect a double-digit increase again. I can't think about it. So that puts my full-time regular salaries at $1.5 million, part-time salaries at $760,000. Para contributions, this is for the full-time only, $267,000. With a continued focus on that response model, like I said, and then this also helps us with our recruitment, retention, and operational readiness. So the capital plan overview, beginning capital funds was $1.7 million. The total 2027 expenditures is expected to be $439,000, which of that committed funds, which is what we're saving for the future for other purchases that will come up in 2028 later, of $1,019,000. And then our projected non-committed fund balance is $299,000. This is money that gets carried over, as I said, from the being on the budget. And our community focus maintains on our readiness and long-term sustainability of keeping this capital going as long as we can. Right now, we're projected out to 2035. These are some of the capital investments that are going to happen in 2027. It's not all of them, but we have staff replacement vehicles, we have rescue vehicle savings. This is where we're putting money away to replace those. They expect a life of about 10 years. So every year we put about $45,000 away to save that up to replace all three of those trucks, one of each station. Turnout gear, this one has increased to $60,000. This has gone up dramatically over the years simply because our turnout gear gets more and more expensive. And as the PFAS stuff, as you guys have heard about, that keeps coming up, is eventually they're going to make us do PFAS-free gear, which is even more expensive. SCBA replacements. Last time we replaced them was about a $400,000 bill to the district. So we're putting $50,000 away up until the point where they expire and we can no longer use them according to OSHA.
What is SCBA?
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Okay.
It's the tanks that we wear in our backs when we go in to fight fire.
Okay.
Station 3 apparatus floor improvements, $20,000. This is basically just to replace the epoxy floor that's down that we cover the concrete with to be clean and not slippery. And then our technology computer upgrades of $20,000. That's an annual per year that we spend on different workstations, computers, and whatnot. Regular replacement, once again, they only last so long, just as the PD experiences where we have to replace them, so every year we put $20,000 into that. Thermal imaging cameras, the cameras that allow us to see in the smoke in the dark, we put $5,000 away every year for that, those were known as the jaws of lights. We're putting $10,000 a year to replace those. If we bought 3 years ago, we bought new ones, and we're starting to save already to buy the next ones that'll be in 2034, I believe. So we continue balancing our operational needs with our long-term sustainability, as I said. We're maintaining our reserve balances. Our reserve balance is at 10% of what our budget is, and that is complete. We don't have to contribute any more money to that. The impact of the safer fund changes is nominal to this budget. The future apparatus and facility planning is continuing to go on with both cities, New Hope and Crystal, planning for our future and what we need to purchase or put into these buildings to keep them sustainable. And then we continue to invest in our staffing and our firefighter wellness. That's the new model. So tonight we'll talk some discussions on the budget. Like I said, it's a 4.9% increase, or roughly 5%. Refine any things you guys want to talk about, and then you guys will take the approval later on. So the fire board needs to have it approved in July. Take to you guys in August. And we'll continue to monitor as we always have, and then formal adoption later in 2026. These are the major points, changes from 2026 to 2027. General operating of $3 million up to 3.6. Capital contributions down by $300,000. Pension fund, this is the pension fund for the paid on call firefighters, because that fund is whole. So rather than $180,000 to bringing that up, we're knocking it down to the $80,000. Engine lease, like I said, had a slight increase. That's the final step for what we will pay now moving forward until the end of the lease. So our total budget is $4.2 million, $31,200. This is the cost sharing formula based on call volumes and taxable values and all of that stuff. And puts Crystal at 48.65%. New Hope at 51%. I'd be happy to take any questions you guys have in regards to the budget.
Okay.
Well, we were talking about health insurance. So West Metro has to go out to the marketplace on its own, or are you able to?
I wish we could go on to one of the cities and go to theirs, but we do have to under the rules from the on time ago, I believe it was Obamacare, as they call it, is forces us to go outside and find our own small group policy, which then is based on age.
Is there any way of like creating a consortium with other firefighting units in terms of getting healthcare costs down?
Most firefighting units belong to a city. So
Okay.
when they belong to a city, they're actually under their healthcare benefits.
Oh, wow.
So we have looked into a couple of different options, none of which have come back lesser.
Okay.
In cost, so I wish there was.
We should look for it. Yeah.
Please.
When did the safer grants expire? This year?
They expire in 2027, February of 2027. So we'll have 2 months of the safer.
So the general operating from 3,038,000 to 3.6, is that because of the added safer
It's
positions?
because of the added safer and because of historics when it comes to the cost of natural gas, fuel and whatnot, all of those lines have gone off.
So I guess I feel like that, I think it's wonderful your budget is where it's at. But I'm just concerned next year if you don't have that $300,000 savings and capital, next year will it be a big spike that we're going to be looking?
I'm hoping that it won't be. Right now, I'm not projecting it out to be a giant spike. I will know more once I find out what the market's actually going to do. Fuel being one of the bigger costs for us right now in planning for that stuff, which is really hard. And I'm hoping that our health insurance and some of that stuff actually levels off and not have increases.
Any other questions? Nice job.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. I really, I had this vision of my mind of a huge increase. See, what did I say? I mean, isn't 4.9%? Isn't that kind of roll off the tongue nice?
Thank you.
So the council will actually vote on the fire district's budget July.
Okay. I know that, so if there's no more questions on that, we'll go on and move item 2 and 3. I think, John, you had kind of wanted to make sure that those two items were, we were able to talk about them together. And I'm just thinking maybe that 15 minutes isn't enough time.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I think.
So let's,
We want to do the other items after item 4.
do we want to do council liaison reports? I wanted to do the holiday lighting. I wanted to move that to number 1. We could do that one. That's probably a quick one, right? And that will put me in a very, very good mood going into the council meeting.
My suggestion would be to get through all the other items.
Okay. Jeez. Kill. So council liaison reports. Do you want to start? Do we have anything?
No, planning commission did not have any items.
Okay. Fire board, we pretty much know about that right now.
The ID commission is working on their questionnaire, got some great feedback from the survey expert, Forrest, and they're hoping to have it done and ready for people at the National Night Out parties.
Yeah, okay, great.
Northwest suburbs, they did meet, I was unable to attend, so I'm not sure.
The cable commission, we basically just did stand items. So there has not been any either movement on the franchise fees for cable commissions. They're still working with all the cities. Some of the cities have received pushback or challenges from some of the fiber broadband companies. So they're still working. The attorneys are working through that.
Anything more with, is it Woodbury? And
No new developments on that side.
so they're still doing their franchise on that new thing coming, and there's
Still the status quo on that. It was a very short meeting. Standing items, then the update from the attorney. Very short meeting. You didn't miss much.
I was not in attendance of the park board meeting. I don't know if John, if you have any highlights that you want to throw out.
Well, last meeting was at Valley Place Park.
Yep.
And just updated residents on projects coming up in the near future. Trying to think. When we do those, the commission meeting usually is a little bit shorter because a lot of it is covered in the neighborhood meeting.
How was attendance? I'm just curious.
Less than it's been there typically. There's a dozen or so. 12, 15.
And the only other one is the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, and we haven't really met, but Kathy, Hamilton, the previous mayor, she did the memorial service at Yosemite. I did the one at Glen Haven on Memorial Day, and we did get a request from Brad Fortin sent me an email. There's a gentleman in Crystal who is a military veteran that has a tree that he needs to come down, and he really needs him. So he's going to get a quote from Nick's tree service, and then we are going to, then we'll bring it to the board. Other than that, we haven't really had any requests for help. And then Forrest is here. Sustainability.
Yeah, the May meeting was a really productive meeting where the commission reviewed the kind of draft goals that were submitted by the consultant. And, I think we had a work session, like I think the week before maybe, or maybe it was even that Tuesday before the meeting. And we'd kind of given direction about asking the commission to highlight and prioritize some of the goals for the council. If you remember, Adam had kind of had the spreadsheet, and Sarah and the consultant were able to turn that around, and we were able to do that. And it was a very good meeting, and we were able to have a good discussion and rank the different strategies in the climate action plan. So I think we should probably be seeing that soon, the results of that. I don't know. But yeah, it was a good meeting.
July 21st is also the final draft, to be brought to the council. The last 2 weeks, Sarah has been working on finalizing the grant, paperwork. We have to do the final report at the end of June. But the actual adoption of the climate action plan will be in July. We've also been getting other information, from Ted Redmond, the consultant, about the implementation matrix and kind of the next steps. So there's other deliverables that he's providing that we're going through right now.
And then what is that? Is it the tour this weekend for the gardens?
No, I believe that's in July, but the
Well,
sign up is due here soon.
Okay, maybe that was what I was reading. Okay. All right, well, if that's it for council liaison, how about constituent issue updates? Okay,
I think you, me, and she got an email from Rachel Breton about 36th Avenue. So she referred and came to the council last year
right.
on about 36th, and there was another accident. She sent pictures of it. And she really wants us to talk about reducing 36 down to essentially 3 lanes. So 1 lane in each direction and then a middle
Turn,
lane. So
like Fast Lake Road, kind of.
yeah, and like 36th is past Douglas, heading
Towards by Cub or towards Newell?
towards New Home. Yes.
That sounds expensive, but
Well, that's
that would be
okay.
Jesse, right?
It would be, but it is primarily a striping and signage thing, so not horribly expensive. I think the main thing is we just did a mill and overlay on that stretch of 36 within the last 5 years, perhaps. So, but I mean, it's striping and signage. So Jesse can comment more on that. I don't think it's.
So like no curb work or anything like that.
No, you generally would just, yeah, you wouldn't modify the curbs. Keep in mind, this goes back to kind of the original sin when 100 was rebuilt and turned into a freeway 25 years ago. The decision made between the cities and MnDOT to have a double left turn from that northbound off ramp to go west on 36th. Once that decision was made, now if you want to change that, it means somehow doing a taper from 2 lanes to 1 somewhere west of 100, probably between Welcome or Xenia or one of the streets west of there. So that might require curb modifications to make it all fit. I just don't know. But west of that point, once you get down to that transition, then it's existing road footprint is basically the same as Douglas. It's roughly 48 feet wide per curb. So you could certainly do that kind of treatment, or same as on Bass Lake Road, east of Lawton, that you were talking about. Same thing. The road footprint is almost the same. The challenge will be transitioning from that northbound double left turn off one. How do we get down from that west of one?
So where do we go from here in terms of, is that a council decision or whether we want to change that?
Well,
It's not a county road, right? We don't need the county.
I mean, Jesse's aware of this concern and you know, it's something that I think we would do at some point in the future. So I think we would ask Jesse to kind of take a look at it and report back. I don't know.
It's a city-owned road, but who's in charge of the 2 turn lanes left?
Well, this is really complicated because the portion of where the bridge is over between the 2 sets of ramps is in Robinson. Once you get west of the ramps where our median tree planting mulch thing is, that's where Crystal starts. Basically right there where that mulch thing starts. So, but I think the bridge is probably owned by MnDOT. I don't really know. Certainly the ramp is owned by MnDOT. So again, there are some complications here that would need to be addressed by better minds than me.
I'd be curious really how many accidents very good too.
Well, and that was the thing too, and she wanted that info, and I told her to reach out to Brian, and I don't know if she did or not.
If I may, I don't mean to interrupt from the speakers above, but I do know that that section is some of the highest accident areas along 36 there. Of all of the accident areas in Crystal, that section of 36 is one of the highest in terms of actual jurisdiction of the city and not the county. I would just to kind of ask that with the county's curb work that's happening at that intersection of 36 and Douglas, there will be kind of some natural traffic flow changes because of that construction, because I do know that they are doing curb work. I don't know if it's possible to look at striping during that time, but I'd be very supportive of the conversion. I think if you look at what happened on the county road on Lowry in Minneapolis, they went from a 4 to a 2 there, and they have higher volumes than we do in on that stretch of 36. And not only do they have higher volumes, they have higher interactions with the crossroads as well, with more turns and for both businesses and crossroads. So I'm a big supporter of this, and I'd like to see if there's any possibility we can piggyback on what the county's doing at the intersection there with Douglas, which I see Jeff is there, and I want to just pre say thank you for that project. It's a great county project. So.
Well, where are we at then? Are we gonna have Jesse, maybe bring us up to speed on possible time frame? And
Sure.
can we do it? Can we
Yes.
not? Is it 10 years? Is it 2 years? Okay.
I'm just curious, the 2 turn lane thing, is it really that busy to get on versus only having the one choice lane to get on to 100 from 81? Like, why is, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, the northbound, the double left turn lane on the end of the northbound ramp.
yeah, like I know that it's busy.
I mean-
but why is that such a, like, we gotta have this, but then on 81, it was like, oh, no, one choice lane. It's just-
Well, different kind of ramp. One has a signal, the other one doesn't. That's the difference. But this is all, I mean, that design was done in the late 90s, maybe even the mid 90s when that design decision was made, constructed around actually 26 years ago, maybe a little more than that. And so, but it was based on traffic modeling from the mid 1990s, right? We all know things have changed. So that's part of the complication. I mean, maybe it's worth reaching out to MnDOT, seeing if they're willing to take that down to a single left turn lane and solve the problem that way. But I mean, I just don't know if that's a thing MnDOT ever does.
You know, I've taken that exit quite a bit, and the double turn lane does help reduce the amount of time that light is, operating. Plus, also traffic doesn't back up down the acceleration. Yeah, so I mean,
I think it's needed.
it's needed, but I could also see that we can do a relay reduction further, down 36. I mean, but I thought but that section of 36, you said is actually owned and operated by Robbinsdale. It's not part of our panhandle, or what?
Just where the bridge is.
Just where
So
the
36 is the city boundary
Okay.
east of 100.
Okay.
Center line, basically. And then as the road makes that slight curve up, right where the bridge is over 100,
Yeah.
that is completely back in Robbinsdale. So it kind of borders like this, the road does this.
Okay.
And then at what would be Veracruz, that's where it totally re-enters Crystal.
Okay.
So it's 50-50, Robbinsdale, Crystal.
I think that that pretty much takes up our time. Right, so we will just suspend the work session meeting for now and get back to it after our council meeting tonight.
All right, Commander Mayor, did you want to finish the standing items before we get into my slide?
we are done with them.
New business.
Oh, our new business and city manager update, sure.
Brainstorm constituent issues.
I don't have any new business. Does anybody else?
Constituent issues. Brainstorm constituent issues.
Oh, constituents, we still have that? Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Well, I think we all got that email from a resident asking about making biking safer. And so I sent an email basically saying, you know, we did long-term planning, we got this going, you know, Douglas will be redeveloped. I think on Douglas too, when they redeveloped it, right, there's a bike path going in there too, I think, Reavers. So I talked about that and I said, yeah, that's the goal. And I completely agree, like, when I bike on the sidewalks, and even then I don't feel particularly safe on there either, so. That was just anyone else responded. I did not hear back.
I sent the exact same email, David, and I also did not hear back.
Okay, cool.
I talked to Adam about it and he said he was gonna respond. Cause I am not in favor of more bike lanes. But that's me and that's mostly because of my age. But the truth is, I drive around a lot in the area. And I don't ever hardly see any bikes. So I don't know why we would, you know, go to Minneapolis and you just like, you're stuck. You can't move because there's so many bike lanes and there are not many bikes, but a million cars stuck trying to get somewhere because they got to have all the bike lanes. But again, I recognize that I'm older and people are younger that are moving in. And if they want more bike lanes, then I'm okay with it. They're probably, you know, gone 8-10 years in.
Gone out of the city or
Yeah.
gone off the road?
Well, I used to bike to, when I worked downtown, I used to bike to work every day. And having, you know, designated bike lanes, very helpful in terms of not only, you know, safety for pedestrians, but bikers
Yeah.
as well as, you know, people driving. And it makes them aware to be able to look around, because a lot of times they come up to a stop sign, they might only look left and not look right, and next thing you know, you have a situation where,
Right.
you know, there's a, you know, conflict or possible accident or something like that. So it's not necessarily that we need to stripe the bike lanes. I think that if we have markers showing that there, you know, this is a designated bike lane or whatever, or biking area or something like that, so that. And a lot of times, if you look in Robbinsdale, they have like a little marker that's like right on the road itself. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have like a stanchion or some kind of, you know, being there, but something to show that this is potentially, there could be other traffic other than just cars. So.
Yeah. Well, I'd asked Adam if that we have any kind of a city overlay where it shows where actual bike lanes are positioned in the city. Because since I'm not a biker, obviously you could tell. They're not the thinnest person in the world, so you can tell. I'm
It's
not a
right for your
biker.
heart.
You know,
Yeah. But I am curious, you know, how many really are there? One thing that I'm really concerned about more than bike lanes is these e-bikes zipping along on the
Oh my
sidewalks.
Yeah.
'Cause I almost got nailed the other day, and I almost nailed somebody when I was taking a right because I didn't see this e-bike come in. Whoosh! So I don't know if there's something we can do about that. We have discussions about that at some point.
Are they regular e-bikes or youth e-bikes?
Well, when they were youth, but they were going like
30 minutes.
yeah or more. Yeah.
I'm a pretty avid cyclist, so I think bike lanes are fantastic. I do agree Minneapolis has gone way overboard, so we don't need to go that far. We don't need a protected lane. We're not a fragile group. As a cyclist, I'll speak for everybody. And also, I think we should at some point talk about e-bikes because they're the pedallessest, which as people age, I get that they still want to ride a bike, but then you've got 15-year-olds on that can go 30, 35 miles with throttle. They're not e-bikes. They're like little mopeds.
Yes. Wow.
You don't even have to pedal to get those things. So that is not an e-bike in my
can we require those e-bikes that the rider wear a helmet? I've seen a lot of them without helmets. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they just passed, they just did some regulations
Okay.
this year.
All right, so it's at the level, great.
I believe it's all required.
even on regular bikes.
No, for the e-bike, the
Regular
motorized.
bikes, okay.
Yeah,
I wear a
talk
helmet.
And that includes those scooters and the ones where they're just a single wheel. Because they move pretty fast as well, so.
Yeah, they do.
Single wheel.
Razor bikes or.
Ever see those where they like can just have just a model? You know?
Okay, you stand on it. I was thinking you
Well, no, yeah, but like, they go, I mean.
know what you mean. Yeah, those are fast.
I see a kid going down the West Broadway. I see a lot of e-bikes and a lot of, electric assisted going down West Broadway, and they're not wearing helmets. And I mean,
Yeah.
one accident,
You're dead.
yeah, you're a donor.
Well, how is that enforced? I mean, I can't imagine that he needs to go.
Can you enforce, can police enforce on laws?
Well, let's have a separate discussion on that. We're getting a little bit away.
Into the
from our-
weeds.
We're getting into the
Staff
weeds.
can.
This is why we go till 10 and it's already 9.
We're fixing problems, Mayor.
I know we're fixing problems, but
Staff will gather some information and then
yes,
set up a work session.
yeah.
We got a new business?
One more thing. Well, I had residents contacting me. I know I contacted you too about that situation that people talked about at the meeting tonight. So just to me, it seems kind of like a little gray area. You know, it looks like I think some people, it looks like it's collaboration, and it's just, I think it puts the police in touch.
It was not.
Right. Well, it's just like, to me, it looks that way, and I don't think it is, but it's a tough position for the police to be in, and it just stinks overall. So I appreciate the back and forth with the emails. I had a lot of questions about kind of situation and everything went on, so it's good to get that info.
Yeah, I would simply say, I think Adam and I were working together. I think Adam's framed up both what happened and kind of the appraisal of that. I did talk with those individuals when they left, and we'll do some follow-up with them. I do have a couple questions based on what I heard them say that I just want to make sure I'm locked in on understanding. But at this point, I based on all of the information that I was called when I wasn't here, I was called what was happening. I believe that the officers did what we would expect them to do. I don't think they did anything more. I'm not sure that people are going to be happy with that answer, but I want to ensure that I can make that statement based on what I heard today definitively, and certainly follow up with those individuals. If I find something else, I'll certainly know.
You know, one thing I want to say is there are a lot of residents in this city who appreciate the fact that you take an unlicensed driver without insurance, with, expired tabs
Kids in the car.
off the street. Because the truth is, when I'm driving my grandkids around, the last thing I want is to be hit by a driver that doesn't have a license, doesn't have insurance, and might jeopardize the health and welfare of my grandchildren. So you know what? If she doesn't have a license and insurance, she deserves to go off the street. And I don't care who that is or where they're from in the world. If I'm like that out driving, you need to haul me in.
Yeah, and I
So-
say that clearly from those that I heard from, I don't think anybody's disputing that. I don't think anybody's disputing traffic enforcement, and the directive to the team is traffic enforcement is a priority. So
Yep.
I don't think there's any question of that. I don't think that's an issue.
All right.
Was there some kind of story that right on this? I mean, how do people know about this?
I think they were there.
There's observers, I think. There's a network that I think a lot of the people were part of this network that as soon as I don't know how they, signal chats or, I mean, there's a lot of conversation that there were people down at the Whipple building that anytime there's a call or there's some activity, I think they got here at the same time. There were people here, I don't know who they were, but there were people that responded, citizens, didn't mean to put it that way, but like other people, observers, that responded at the same time as immigration customs. But there was also the lack of a seatbelt. That's, there's the tabs and there's no seatbelt, right? Make sure that was, it would have been maybe just one of those. I mean, there were multiple things going on at the time.
Right.
That the purpose of the stop.
And a warrant.
Well, but we didn't know that at the time. It was
The initial stop was for no seatbelt, had expired times.
Okay.
is the optic that she. So I guess my only question on all that is like, with all those strikes against her, she was still let go. Would that be a normal procedure that somebody, a legal citizen that had those, would they be let go?
I believe that the officers did everything exactly like we would conduct that.
For anybody?
Period.
Okay.
I'm asking a dumb question. Oh, you're your hand up. How did I find out that she was here?
So I would defer back to Adam's email. There was a warrant in the NCI system. Every person that we have contact with, if I come to a dispute at your house and we identify you, we run everybody we have contact with NCI system. Then we find out who has warrants for what. And so a warrant surfaced on this individual when they ran the checks. Procedure is that we ask dispatch to confirm that warrant with the originating agency. Does this warrant exist? What are the conditions? Because there might be a warrant out of Missouri, and the conditions are that they won't extradite except in an immediate area. Okay, well, not a thing now. So in this case, dispatch called and confirmed that warrant. At which time we found out it was an administrative warrant. That was the extent of what we did. So they brought the individual back here, booked her, and released her, which would be normally what we do. In the meantime, those agents showed up here. They presented administrative warrants, and we said we don't honor administrative warrants. We're not holding her, and we're not releasing her in your custody.
An administrative warrant is not signed by a judge, correct? And so I said somebody monitoring every time that.
They're federal. It's just a federal.
To be honest with you, I will spend zero time trying to morph in my head what might have happened beyond that phone call. I am saying that based on all the information I have right now, that was a phone call we would make every time for that confirmation, because we don't know the context of it, and then we act accordingly. And in this case, we took no further action accordingly to that.
Okay.
We're ready to move on to one more.
Yeah.
So I did receive a phone call from a constituent about parking at a group home. I pushed it on to Adam. Adam obviously dealt with it, and I got a phone call, voice message back from the constituent saying that he had spoken to a police officer and the problem is dealt with. So, yeah, so good. Thank you.
All right. All right, city manager update.
Good luck.
I don't have a whole lot. I do have. Let me.
Oh, sure.
The upcoming schedule, future agenda items, the tobacco, so the July 9th work session, Kim will be leading that. Probably at the camp, but we finally got the draft ordinance from the Public Health Law Center for the tobacco. So the council will go kind of go through the list of include or not include. So that's the only item for that night. You know, the council will have to decide, you know, which items they'll want to pick, but also the timing of when we want these to go into effect. They don't all have to go into effect at the same time. That'll have to be decided. And we are planning on having the public hearing I spoke with Rachel again tonight for the public hearing for the Twin Lake Improvement District. We have not really had any feedback from Brooklyn Center, which they started earlier, but they're confused on the process. But Rachel advised us to just go ahead with our process and we do our thing. I don't really know what the end future of that is, but we are planning on having a public hearing on the 21st for that. And then in August, the council will decide at the August regular meeting whether or not to establish the district. So more information to come on that. Yeah, most of it's we're working on budget and plugging away through that.
All right, New business.
I just want to say that, without the Wells Fargo building being on Bass Lake Road, the area looks completely different. It's amazing how taking one building out just makes it look surprising,
Yeah, and it will look even more different in about 6 months.
Yes. They start putting up walls. Yeah, I know.
Any other new business?
I don't know, just new business or lots of comments, but, are we gonna have a discussion about frolics after the frolics and the future of the frolics? And if you're talking about maybe changing the date of the airport open house, I still would really love to do a combination weekend of all of it.
Yes, I mean, the short answer is yes. I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be after probably September, over later this fall.
Okay.
As I know, Frolic does a kind of a debrief. We just had the Family Fest or the kickoff to summer this last weekend. I don't think Rec has had, I haven't met with John since then to debrief it. But staff will be discussing, then we'll have to talk about early because we're going to be starting planning for the next.
Well, can we do
year's
it
stuff.
as just a council discussion before we bring in Parks and Rec? Just because I feel like I was very confused about what this kickoff to summer was, because I thought this was replacing the family portion of frolics. Then all of a sudden we were having frolics, and it's like, well, why did we? I just feel like if we had combined resources, we could have done so much more. So I was just confused. I don't know if anybody else was on that, or if everybody else knew that it was going to be two separate things. I was just confused about that. So I would like the council to have discussion of kind of what we're looking for, what we think, and then bring staff in to really work out that.
Did you see that park on Sunday? Or was it Saturday?
It was
Saturday.
That was unbelievable. That place was. Did you go? Did you drive by?
No.
Anybody?
I was there.
It was busy.
Forrest was
I thought it looked incredible.
there. I mean, it was, but I feel like it was kind of confusing. And on social media, people were confused because they're like, "Oh, I went to Tobacco Park on Sunday and there was no cheese curds." And they're like, "Well, that's frolics. This was different." So I just think everybody was confused.
Well, if they look at their quarterly newsletter, and send out with all the information, they would, yeah.
Just so I'm clear on what you're asking for. When you say without recreation.
I just want the staff to be able to have an open conversation of kind of what we would like or what our expectations are. I mean, especially if we're gonna be funding or giving a portion of, funding to this. And then just without their input initially, if that makes sense. I don't know, and I only say that because of this whole kickoff to summer thing. That was kind of with them giving us all what they thought would be great ideas and us agreeing, but I was confused as heck as to what actually this was. I thought this was going to replace the Family Fest part of Frolics.
It kind of is.
And that's what
But
it
it
was.
kind of didn't, because we're still now doing everything that Frolics has always ever been.
They added those for this year.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but when we had the discussion about the kickoff to summer, they weren't going to have that, right? And then it all changed, so I think if we pooled resources, again, I know I always use like Osceola as the thing that I'm comparing it to, but it's very similar. I mean, they've got the airport, they've got their car show, they've got, I don't know if we still do our car show or not, but like all these little things that we have, if we could just pull it into a big weekend and do it big, I just think that would be just better. And it would give the city it would just give the city an identity of a weekend, like every other city. We kind of don't have that. We've got like this and this and this and this, but not like one big grand celebration where it's like Crystal Days.
We can,
I just second what Tracy's saying.
I would third that as well.
We need clarity on what the products is gonna be long term, what our thing is gonna be long term. I'm strongly in favor of one big weekend where we just do it all and it's amazing. So yes, I'm just seconding this new business item, but let's have a conversation sooner than later about how we're gonna approach this business order.
Okay. You guys, I mean, you have this dream in your head that you're gonna do this huge, big thing for the weekend. But I'm here to tell you, how often has any of you really, other than help me come and set up tables, set and volunteered and set these things up?
But that's.
There's not enough volunteers in the
That's
world
the
to do
point,
it.
because you need volunteers for that airport open house, you need volunteers for frolics, you need volunteers for this, for
You need
that.
for the court fee.
Let's do one thing,
One thing, and
one thing.
how are you gonna get the
If
volunteers?
a
You're not
city
gonna
of
get enough
9,000
volunteers.
people can do it, I do it.
Okay.
If there's only one event.
Exactly.
It's a self prophecy where if it's a really awesome event, more people will want to support it. More donors, more volunteers, and I think the dream's worth it.
Exactly, and it's like the one thing that all these businesses can donate money
behind.
to.
Okay, I'm gonna put you in charge of that.
This is president of the.
Celebration.
Yeah, and you can take over the airport open house too, starting Monday. I need help with tables and chairs.
Yeah.
You
Putting up or taking
know,
down?
2 o'clock.
2 p.m. No, we never.
I got a guy coming in to volunteer to set them up.
Okay, yeah, but you want us to take them down?
I would like to help, yes.
Yeah, isn't it normally right around 12?
Oh,
All right,
Yeah.
all right, I'll be there. All right,
yeah,
I'll show up.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay,
You gonna be there?
I don't know.
Taji? We- Forrest?
David usually comes and helps take. tables down.
I will be there. I will be there. Just send me a text where you want me to show up, and I'll
Okay.
work.
I'm coming back for a little. So
Oh,
I'll be there.
okay.
But maybe.
Alrighty, I think that is new business. Council comments and announcements, we probably don't have any of that. Okay, let's go to item 4 now.
Madam Mayor, I can certainly do my slideshow in reverse order.
No, let's do the slide. You said how many slides?
11, 10 without the coverage, so.
Okay. I love you, John, but I like slideshows like of 3 or 4 slides.
He's done 3 or 4.
You like the slideshows like you like your levy?
Yeah, right. I know. But you were very thorough. You do a wonderful job. So, okay.
I apologize, this is a different.
No, it doesn't work.
Okay, well, you won't see the whole screen, that y'all. Of course, I crammed a lot of data on this, so I'll do my best. All right, so 3 things tonight: TIF funded public improvements, Douglas Drive project, holiday lighting. These are all things we've talked about and.
There's something that stations that.
This year's budget, can we get a bigger TV?
No, you don't need a big-
So we were actually talking to a firm to use we're getting a quote for upgrading, putting a TV over there, bigger TV there, and on cars, the new microphones.
So you might as well get a bar too.
And the
BYOB?
audio video.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
You can close that.
yeah, I know, it was locked up. These were all locked.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of Forrest.
No, keep going.
No. Okay, try this again. Yay! I apologize.
That's all right.
Okay, so. TIF funded public improvements. The top one, number one, that's just to close a little 200-foot sidewalk gap between 57th and 58th Avenue. Purely engineering exercise. We don't need to talk about it unless you really want to. Item number two, lower right-hand corner of the triangle. We're going to completely rebuild the pedestrian crosswalks there, new APS pedestrian ADA compliant signals on posts, all that stuff. That again is mostly an engineering exercise. Don't need to talk about it unless you need to. Number three, the south side, at least currently we're just talking about the south side of 57th Avenue from Kentucky to West Broadway. That is really what we need to talk to you and hear from you tonight about this site. So these are the existing conditions. It's the 2025 aerial. I've outlined the West Broadway site in red. And you can see, I don't have the property lines in my hand, but basically wherever you see a sidewalk, the right of way line is within a foot at most, maybe 2 feet behind this. So we do not have a lot of right of way work with it. We've got a street, we've got a tiny little 3-foot wide, pardon me, crappy grass boulevard, and then a sidewalk that's most segments of which are original from about 40 years ago. So they're nearing the end of their useful life, even though they're holding up okay, but they're going to be on a replacement radar sometime fairly soon. So that's what we're dealing with now. Here are some photographs I took yesterday. On the left-hand column, that's looking east, and then at the bottom, looking west from Jersey, so east from Kentucky. Bottom is looking west from Jersey. You'll see what I'm talking about there. The middle one is between Jersey and Broadway. So the top one is looking east from Jersey towards Broadway. You can see the storage building there on the upper left hand. And then the bottom one is looking west from Broadway. And the right hand side is on Jersey between 57th and Bass Lake. The reason I have it in here is it's not currently part of the project. We hadn't talked previously about putting it in. There are some challenges because we don't have on the west side, because you can see that parking lot is real close to the sidewalk, even though we have a utility easement along there. There really isn't physical space to put pedestrian scale streetlights, but we could replace the sidewalk and do the decorative paved boulevard there if you want. Bottom right hand picture is the other side of Jersey. This is the southeast corner by the Huntington Bank, looking south towards the Duncan. So you can see there the boulevard's a little wider. We can do something decorative there. Again, you can see a little bit of the sidewalk. It's still, you can see it's 40+-year-old town.
See that little wet spot there?
That's that there.
Yeah.
That's a catch basin, I think.
Yeah. I found $1 in there yesterday. I was making it clear. Right. Drying in the back of my car right now.
One of the things we'd like feedback tonight is it seems kind of weird just to do one side of 57. And as far as the north side, we don't have utility easements on the north side, so we were figuring just leaving that alone. Plus, New Horizon does a good job of taking care of their property, so we don't need to use the public improvements to try to mitigate something that doesn't look real good, because their property looks real good. So we're only talking about the south side of 57. Would be interested later on when we get your comments about should we extend it down Jersey to Bass Lake Road. Okay. So this is the 60% mobile plans. You can see the new sidewalk, the decorative boulevard. We are fixing some of these catch basins here. We're actually putting a second catch basin in here based on some flow analysis that the engineer did. New code compliant ped ramps and so forth. So this is kind of zooming in on what we have the physical space to do. Not much space. New sidewalk, paved boulevard. So, decorative concrete, paved boulevard concepts. Now, one of the options that the Blue Line project will be using for those two little bits of paved boulevard between the new interchange and Adair Avenue is to match what was done in the Bass Lake Road streetscape back in 2018. So here's kind of a close-up street view of it, and this is an overhead aerial. The colors seem to be holding up fairly well. The reds tend to fade more than the grays. They get that kind of pallid pink color, which is real nice over time, but it's better than like a green or something.
John, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I think it's very ugly.
Okay, they're not hurting my feelings. I didn't come up with the design. So, but that's the question. I mean, this is going on the Blue Line project, but it makes sense because it's kind of just on the other side of the interchange of where we use it now. But yes, exactly. This is a decision point, these TIF improvements to decide, are we sort of done with this now, other than this bit that's going to the Blue Line? And if so, here are some ideas that we came up for colored concrete. Now, keep in mind, while this is showing it in the space between the new sidewalk and the street curb, we could also use this in the medians on Douglas, for example. Whatever you select could be the new crystal style of decorative concrete. So this one, it's an angled broom or rake finish to sort of simulate cross-bedded sandstone. This one is more of a blocky pattern. And this one is more of the random, supposedly random pattern.
What is that like on the right? See the middle one? And then if you move over to the right, it looks kind of grayish. Right?
I think that's just a different color.
I like that.
So we could do gray. That's one thing. We picked sandstone at the staff level because we thought it has a more natural, it simulates a natural appearance, whereas gray doesn't add any color really, but gray has its own aesthetic next to white concrete, although eventually they will age to the same color. The white concrete and the gray treated concrete.
Is it smooth? Because like when you're shoveling, it looks to me, I like the pattern in it, but it looks to me like, one little section may be up a quarter of an inch and one may be down an eighth. And then you're gonna catch your shovel on it.
So this is, these are public side.
Go ahead.
So when you use the TrackMaster to.
These are public sidewalks that we would plow, plus these things are more visual. They're not meant to simulate actual stones, so the machines will probably go right over it. Jesse has not expressed any concern with these from a maintenance perspective.
Well, that is the thought I had as well, even when like pushing the stroller, a lot these days, I don't want more bumps and whatever. So option one, I like option one. It seems most simple. So that's my approach.
Right, and keep in mind the sidewalk will be standard 5 foot wide concrete. Sure. This is just the 3 feet or so between the sidewalk and the curb.
Oh.
Yep.
So the sidewalk will have a standard broom finish for traction that you see on any sidewalk.
Yeah. I still like the gray.
Go back to the previous screen to show the boulevard. So you have the stuff, that one, the glass one ish. No, sorry. Go up.
This here?
No, go back to the previous screen.
Previous screen.
Next one.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So see that ugly dark stuff?
This is asphalt.
That's what we're talking about. The sidewalk is going to be new sidewalk.
Yeah, and I'm just saying I cannot stand the asphalt, so I'm never getting or we'll replace that. But if you have 2 strollers side by side, which again I am in that season where I'm walking with friends, so the easier it is, like the more accessible it is for groups to walk down the sidewalk or something. But again, you can walk on any of these concrete concepts. I understand that. I just think the less cracks and whatever, the better.
The top one is, it is not. It's kind of a unique pattern. I haven't seen this anywhere else. But the sidewalk that would actually be broomed at a 45 degree, that would be 90 degrees from the 45 degree of the colored concrete. So you'd have, when you're driving down the street, it's not gonna pop. But if you're walking, the pattern will it'll be a little more evident. And that's really what we're doing this. And you'll be able to more easily walk on the colored concrete versus the versions below, or more importantly, pushing the floor. Some of the people
John, I would just like to add one to Taji's point. I agree. I think accessibility is my number one concern. Another thing is, I don't think this is visually doing what we want it to do. Having a small 1 to 2 foot strip of something different looks more disjointed to me than if it was all concrete. And so honestly, for me, I prefer if it was all concrete. It makes it look like more of the path width is accessible for use, and it doesn't look like a strip of disjointed pavement along the pathway that kind of looks more out of place than anything. So that's my 2 cents. I guess take it or leave it, but I think it should all be concrete.
Well, just Councilmember, just to be clear, it is all concrete. It's just you're saying not to have that strip being colored or patterned anyway. It would just be a 8 foot wide sidewalk.
That's correct. And I think, in New Hope, kind of in some of the areas where they have the 8 foot sidewalk, I think that honestly looks more attractive, more unified, and a lot more accessible because it's clear to people that, oh, this is for me to use. So that's kind of my thought. I think with just a little strip, it looks like if you had a wall painted white and then you just put a random strip of patterned wallpaper in the middle of it. It doesn't look as though it's aesthetically part of the landscape. It looks like somebody thought, oh, this is pretty little bit of wallpaper. I'm going to put it on the wall, but not actually incorporate it into the overall design of the streetscape.
What about, if I could ask it doesn't cost that much to add color to concrete. Patterns is where it's a little more expensive. Even that's not that expensive. What about colored sidewalks? So the full width would be a sidewalk, but we would have some kind of color to it besides standard curing compound white concrete.
I've never seen that before. I'd be kind of curious what it looks like.
2 questions. First of all, are we doing this in-house?
No, this would be bid out.
Bid out, okay.
That's on a later slide. But
Yeah, and so, that's fine. I know usually when they have the textured concrete, they have some type of stamp that they use to be able to, mold a, stoneware look to it, or whatever you want to call it. But I prefer the top one, the brushed one, the smooth. I, don't really like the
You don't like that gray over there?
well, no, because I broke my foot many years ago, and I walked on that stuff. It's painful, So it's like, so I'd rather have it as smooth as possible, So
Yeah, I agree. Besides shoulders, there are people who move there.
yeah,
But that is supposed to be smooth, you said.
well, it's not as smooth as the concrete. It's just navigable.
yeah,
Not necessarily super comfortable.
Oh,
right.
then just keep it smooth. I don't.
So let me ask.
that
But I like the
chalk
idea of
art
having-
someday or something.
I like the idea of adding color to our sidewalks to kind of like have some kind of contrast between the black or the concrete road or black asphalt and then, any other areas. I like that idea of adding some color to it.
What do the rest of you think about that idea of doing a full width sidewalk without having a separate decorative strip? But treating the whole sidewalk, doing the whole sidewalk in
I like that.
color.
I like that.
Okay.
I need to see what color. Are we talking crystal blue here?
Look at this one, you guys.
Oh, wow. Now we're freaking around here, I think. Oh, yeah.
It's up close. What was this like?
Yeah, it's sort of a terracotta. A little more red than the sandstone. But other cities, you'll have yellows and golds and you'll have grays. You can, so how, it sounds like.
Well, can we do, like,
We have to make the color
on
decision.
Brownsville, I
tonight.
know,
Here we go. So we're gonna
we
be at
have the
a
blacktop with the yellow, like dash striped on the center or whatever.
Oh, this isn't really wide enough for a bike
No,
trail.
it's not.
Yeah, no. It would just be a very generous sidewalk. But is that a direction staff should spend some time on? Let's look at different color options, but not have a separate colored strip.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm open to that. I also be curious if we stamp our logo,
Yeah.
different.
You're killing me.
Well,
And you said it's not big enough for streetlights?
The streetlights would actually go just outside the sidewalk because we have a 5 foot utility easement beyond the right of way, and streetlights are a utility. So we can put streetlights in the utility, even though it's actually technically on private property.
You couldn't do lights on the, ground, like flush with the ground?
That would probably be a maintenance nightmare. Jesse and I have not discussed that.
Yeah.
Especially. And we want the light to spread, so people are walking.
Like, I meant kind of in addition to the lights, but just to kind of light that little pathway.
I will bring it up to Jesse, but I would be very concerned. I'm sure he'll be concerned about maintenance of something.
I like,
I want to. Yeah.
One question I thought I had, and I don't mean to derail this at this hour, but nobody really goes where this is being proposed. It's like a very low traffic area, and I guess that might be part of the reason why it really makes sense for TIF, because most of the people walking there would probably be from the apartment building going to like Aldi. But is there any way we can improve the walkway or walk path from the new apartment building on Bass Lake? Because I'm just like, that's going to be such a bigger impact. But yeah, I just thought I'd ask that. That was one thought in my head, is like, this is a lot of effort for an area that's really not well trafficked by anyone that other than lives there, which might be the point, which I understand.
What city do you live in?
yeah, it's busy. You're just not up there.
Yeah, you're not there on Sunday morning.
Can I answer? I mean, I think that this is an opportunity to talk about this. So problem with Bass Lake Road is that's sort of waiting for other stuff, right? Like the county.
Yeah.
I mean, we could replace the sidewalk though. I mean, if we come back with some color options that the council really likes to do full width sidewalk between the curb and the edge of the sidewalk instead of the decorative strip, we could do that. We could add replacement of the sidewalk on Bass Lake Road from basically the New Hope border at the corner, at the Wells Fargo site, all the way to Broadway. And then at that point, you can decide whether you want to do Jersey as well. If you recall, the right-hand pictures are Jersey. The boulevard's even narrower. So this would be a place where it'd be really good to have just the wider sidewalk than what's there now. And we could, if we pick a color you really like, we can design that into the project. It's going to increase the cost, but we have TIF to pay for this. So how about if we rethink that scope and get estimates for doing both sides of Jersey with the full width sidewalk and also the north side of Bass Lake Road from the west edge of the Wells Fargo site, which is the New Hope border, to Broadway. And I guess then the question I'd ask is, do you want us to do this stretch of Broadway too? Kind of wrap the Walgreens block.
Yes.
Depends on what it looks like.
But you know what? I mean, is there anybody going into Walgreens that you got any hits on?
Yeah, that would be my question too, is it's going to be redeveloped too soon. So I almost want to wait to see if they do willing to give a few feet for a better kind of public streetscape there than try and invest in what's the little bit that's there now.
And I would say the same thing's true on Bass Lake Road though. To me, they're very similar. County roads, no parking allowed.
And I think that's a good point. So I would defer to you on your judgment there.
What about Jersey between 57th and Bass Lake Road? Do you all think we should throw that in there so those sidewalks at least are, I mean, again, they're not great right now. The right-hand pictures here.
Yep.
Yeah, get rid of that tree that hangs over and hits you in the head too.
I know which one you're talking about there.
Did you get hit yesterday?
I duck.
Yeah, I ducked too.
Okay. So anyway, all right, well, I think we have some good direction on that.
Okay.
So get no paved boulevard, full width sidewalk, explore color treatment options for the full width of the sidewalk. Add both sides of Jersey to that scope.
Brush finish.
Oh, and maybe look at our logo, stamping our logo. It'll be an option. It isn't set in stone, pardon the pun, until you see the plans and specs for bid.
We put our hands in it, for the eyes.
You can,
We'll have council hand.
Pedestrian scale lighting. So again, these lights would go just behind the sidewalk. So it'd be right around where the property line is, but because we have that 5-foot easement, we're able to actually put it past the property. The upper left hand of the 4 is very similar to what we have in Becker Park. I don't even know if they still make that exact model. That would be ideal from Public Works for maintenance, one set of parts and all that. But we recognize, okay, that model may not be made exactly that way anymore. The upper left-hand quarter of the screen shows you basically the same type of light. So, I don't personally like the upper right and upper left. To me, they're just less desirable versions of the Becker Park style, which I kind of like personally. But the one at the lower right kind of intrigues me. Now, this is not an old-timey downtown. I mentioned that in the staff. Doing the old oil lamps or whatever, gas lamp look. That isn't going to fit what's going to happen. This is basically a new downtown. And the one at the right, it's sleek, it's simple, clean design. Puts the light where you need it, just like the Becker Park ones do. So I would be curious. I mean, you all might like the two I don't know. But that's the kind of feedback we're looking at. Right now, our default is the Becker Park style, but if you've been up to Becker, you know what those look like. Thoughts?
If they have twinkle lights on the poles, I don't care.
Wow. The top two, I agree. They kind of they're just sterile. I don't know.
You don't think that lower right hand one is sterile?
No,
I think they all look sterile, and I don't like any of them because of that.
No.
I think they look like something that landed from a spaceship and have lost any sense of human character or dimension. And if you look at like the streetlights that we have on Bass Lake, the kind of green ones, I think that I like those, and I would like to see something kind of reminiscent of that style. I agree that, it's like, obviously we don't have a historic train downtown like Robbinsdale, so we can't really go after that aesthetic. But at the same time, I get the feeling, and like the residents that I've talked to and the neighbors I've talked to is like, okay, we can't have that, but that's what we want. And so maybe that's, so I think that's the one thought is I'd love to see some more kind of human vibe, less data center vibe of these.
Well, fair enough. On Bass Lake Road in New Hope, west of Winnetka, by the golf course and the Ironwood Apartments, they have a style of light that's kind of similar to what I think you're describing. It's not exactly like our street light ones.
Those are nice.
So those of you who've seen those, have any of you seen those and not liked them?
God, I drive by there every single day. I look.
On the north side of Bass Lake Road, west of Winnetka, once you get to it used to be St. Therese.
Yeah.
Nursing home, and then you get there's the golf course on Ironwood.
Yeah.
You'll note they don't have modern roadway lights there. They have pedestrian scale lights all the way to the intersection by the
By
Ironwood.
Boone.
So they have to.
On the north side of Bass Lake.
They have to
Well, you can give us some feedback, emailing us separately offline if you have a chance. If you have a chance tonight, drive by them, that kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's 20 to 10.
That would be more of a style. It would have more of an old, not really old timey style, but more of a classics.
But why can't we do the old time style? Why
Well,
can't
we
do
can, we just don't think it.
Appropriate. We're trying to like bring up our image of the city.
We're trying to be like a Homer town.
It will be one.
Well,
Wouldn't that be like the home here?
well,
We make it like a modern old time?
And when it comes to lighting, you should just listen to me, okay?
okay, what I'm hearing is nobody likes any of these, right? So I'm gonna go with that. And we'll come back with some different options.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't give us too many options, so I never make a decision.
Okay, so I'm not alone.
That's it.
But, yeah, well, it sounds like we gotta come up with some different options, and we will do that, so.
Yeah, but it should be, so where, just west over here?
Okay, so, discussion.
Here,
requests.
listen, we gotta keep moving here.
And we've covered a lot of this. current scope.
Yeah.
We talked about that. We'd add Jersey to the sidewalk portion. I'm not sure about the lighting, but if we can figure out a way to make the lighting work, we'll add it. It might only work on one side. But if we can add the lighting to that, we'll put that in the revised plans for further review by you. So we're gonna add Jersey to the scope. Getting rid of the paved boulevard, but we're gonna look at doing some kind of decorative concrete for full width sidewalks, including the space between the current sidewalk and pedestrian lighting. We got our answer on that. We have more work to do. So going forward, we're gonna be working through this, and our goal is to get the 90% plans by sometime this fall, probably late fall. We have a work session, we'll have a work session between now and then. But then we'll have a final work session for a final check-in before we ask you to approve the bid plans and specs.
You say 90% work plans and I think a light rail and it gives me a headache.
We are not Metro Transit. Please have faith. So in early 2027, that's when we would go to bid. And we do construction sometime in 27. Now, some of this we're gonna have to coordinate with the apartment building.
Right.
To make sure we don't get crosswise with our construction. Our hope is their heavy construction will be done at this point. So we can start working, but our goal is to get it done in 27. So that's my plan going forward on this. Last chance for any further questions.
I love it. I love the colored concrete, but all the same.
Yeah.
And brushed,
Yes.
smooth.
Loud and clear.
For John, I want that.
Okay. Douglas Drive meetings. Remember, there are two projects. The one coming up next year is the one that you did a cooperative construction agreement for recently with our cost participation. I'm gonna start with the bottom line first, just to be clear. If we do add color to the medians, it should not be a substantial cost increase. But there will be probably some, so we need to bring an amended construction agreement back to you all at that point. Okay. So there's a bunch of stuff in the project. I've got the overview map here. Basically, there are gonna be these new medians. Now, the landscape stuff on the spaces they're creating at 36th and 42nd by removing those right turn lanes, that's gonna have to wait until after the second project happens in, 3 to 5 years. We don't wanna put a bunch of new landscaping and then have it get wrecked by heavy construction. So they're just going to put down turf as part of the 2027 project. But the medians are where we have an opportunity to do something other than standard white concrete. So I already know the answer on the existing streetscape pattern, no. The sandstone color, it sounds like the same color palette that we're gonna bring to you for the sidewalk that we just talked about could also, you hopefully select the same color, or maybe one of those colors if it's a different one, for the medians. So here I've highlighted really crudely where these medians are gonna go. 32nd, 38th, Fairview will just be these short medians where there are some types of a crosswalk, and they are gonna add an RRFB at Fairview, similar to the one at 32nd, as part of the county project. So that's good news. And they're gonna move the crosswalk to the north side of the Fairview intersection, because that's where the regional trail is gonna cross Douglas, not the south. Okay. 36th and 42nd, especially 36th, the length of the medians is much, much greater. It's a really substantial opportunity to do something other than plain white concrete. So we'll bring those colors back to you, have that same discussion. Doesn't have to be the same color as the sidewalks, but we need to, I personally think this is an opportunity to do something here, and we need to take it.
And there's not an option for planting the trees.
The medians are too narrow.
Okay.
Or in the case of the wider ones for the pedestrian crossings, they're too short to do anything meaningful.
Okay.
Because the pedestrian well, actually, I take that back.
Like Fairview.
The pedestrian crossings are actually just next to these medians. The pedestrian crossing doesn't go through them, which is interesting. So we could, okay, do you want us to explore plantings? It would have to be something with no irrigation. So it'd have to be something similar to the daylilies we did in that median on 36 between Welcome and 100. There's probably not room for the big elm trees that we put in there, but those daylily type hardy,
Drought resistant.
drought resistant, vigorous plants could maybe go in here.
Could we not do like just native wildflowers, like pollinator friendly things?
We can explore that option as well, although maintenance becomes, those things need tender loving care generally.
And then if they get so high, then it's, kind of a visual,
Yeah.
can impair.
It has to be something low because this is right at crosswalks, right at an intersection. So,
I'd like to explore it if you can.
no, sorry, go ahead.
I'd like to explore if we
Okay.
can.
We'll do that. Okay. Holiday lighting,
Yeah.
that's the last.
This is just a complete yes right now. I don't ask for much, you guys. This is the one time I want my way right now tonight. No,
Would you take this or
Maybe-
the color?
I would take
This or.
colors.
Because we just met with a guy yesterday on site, because when you get a quote that low, you get nervous, right? The other thing is, I got the spec, the actual, the light that they proposed to buy and put up. And I got 2 strands and the adapter, and Public Works, when they have time, hopefully this week, are gonna pick one of the poles and wrap them like they did the other 2 with their product. So we can real world test it to see if it looks as good in terms of brightness, visibility as the other 2. Now, these are just like the ones we put up there, 2700 Kelvin, warm white. They're not color changing,
Right.
nothing fancy. We're just trying to add that splash of festiveness without spending a lot of money. You will have an additional cost to replace any of the failed receptacles at about $140 a pop. And of the 2 we did, one of them had failed. So if we have a failure rate of 50%, I mean, that's gonna add to that 5,000 substantially. But we have money in the EDA fund balance for this kind of stuff. EDA said, do this. We're just presenting, okay, here's how we're gonna do it. The lights would stay up permanently until they fail. They have an anticipated 5-year lifespan. They would be photo cell controlled, so they'd come on with the street lights and turn off with the street lights, dusk to dawn. Power consumption cost would be under $300 a year, hoping I did my math right on that.
Per pole or for the whole thing?
For the whole thing.
Okay,
For 100 strands, it's 2 strands per pole, 100
I'm
strands,
gonna
it's
run it.
4.5 watts.
All the way
per
out there
strand.
to it, my house.
this is just such a no-brainer.
So, we're ready to go. With those caveats, I gotta get the second bid and make sure they look okay, but. We have your okay to proceed, and then if we have to problem solve a couple of things I just mentioned, go ahead and problem solve it. It's all under the $25,000 council approval threshold.
I'm having second thoughts here.
Yeah. Can afford it.
Killing me.
Okay, so
You said in your report here, you don't even need. Cause it's under the amount.
I want to keep my job.
yes.
Do you guys, seriously, do you want it or no?
Yes.
Okay,
I
there you
guess
go.
the one question
Forum.
I have, so someone's gonna put these lights on.
Yep. Furnish and install. They will furnish and install.
Okay, I just so like the example picture there, the lights are not like very well put on, there's some gaps, like. I just want it to look very
Nice.
nice, so, and especially if these are gonna be on year round, I don't know if there's a way to like. More, not permanently, but like attach them so that the spacing stays and they don't start to droop over time or unravel over time or something like that.
Yeah, we don't want them to look messy.
That's a good point. The company I do have the bid from, and then the quote from, and then the other one that I'm getting one from, both of them do outdoor lighting. That's part of their core business.
Yeah.
So I will ask them that about that issue. They've seen this example for them, so they know what we did, what we're asking them to emulate. I will ask them that question. How do you
Okay.
prevent it from looking like that after?
Emulate it better. Or
And they do it all day long. Our guys don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, they were
just giving it.
Well meaning.
they were well-meaning and they were very kind to do it.
Yes.
Well, and it was a pilot. It was.
Great pilot.
Let's
Yep.
do two of them and see.
Let's do it.
You know what this is? We're gonna put Crystal on the map. I mean, people are gonna be talking about our town, how cool. it was.
Question though, what happens after 5?
And all of our blue sidewalks.
Did you say? So what happens after 5 years? Do the light bulbs get replaced or the whole thing get?
You replace the strands. Usually what happens, and that's an average, right? So some, some strands are gonna fail sooner because of weather. It's usually weather. The grades, the vinyl, or the stuff, or the stuff related to the bulb. So, yeah, and we're not gonna know until we know. But
When
yeah,
would this be
you're not gonna replace individual bulbs.
installed then, do you think? What are you thinking? Like, maybe like Friday or?
So, this one hasn't given me a date yet, because all these companies do other work in other seasons. The other one that I'm waiting for said it would probably be October, late October.
What?
Because they do lawn care, mowing.
Yeah, they do that with it.
Trees, all kinds of other stuff this time. of
Do you
year.
remember, about a month or two ago, we had this conversation about where my streetlights when I was whining? And I clearly remember you saying, very clearly, it would be like second quarter, June or so. It was never October.
If that was our goal, but it depended
Oh.
on. We didn't even have quotes. At
I
that
have-
time.
Selective hearing, but some things I really remember.
Well,
And I'm okay with that.
yeah, I mean, we can't do it ourselves, so it's when
Yeah,
the contractors.
we gotta find something.
We certainly aren't asking them to wait. They're
Right,
telling
yeah.
me, because I told them, we're ready to go. How soon can you do this? He said October.
So with this vendor, did you kick the tires at all? Did you go see some of their examples of things that they've done?
I've seen photos, but this time of year, it's all taken.
What's the name of the company?
RTD in St. Paul.
You got to call Mayor and,
No, I'm not gonna get.
Again, I ordered the product and we're gonna have a demonstration.
Okay.
When that's up, I'll let you know which pole it's on. You can go look at it yourself.
Great.
One other thing, these are commercial lights. So you said, we're not just going down to Target or Walmart.
Yeah,
grab lights off the shelf, just what we did, so.
So does the 5,000 include the cost of the lights too? And the installation? You sure they were?
And how many red dots are there?
That's why I'm nervous, but
So how many locations are you gonna have?
50.
50, the
50.
price is based on 50 poles. Now,
Great.
it's actually only gonna be 48.
You better quick sign it before they change it.
Well, he's kicking the tires. He's making sure that.
You don't wanna
The product is
kick the
what
tires,
we
though.
want, and
Yeah.
that's why we'll let you know when it's on the pole, so you can go look at it.
Then I think we need to have a council meeting at the lighting ceremony. But it won't be when we turn out pretty light.
But there'll have to be meeting notice, of course.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody said yes, so.
Okay, I got what I need. Thank you so much, everybody.
You were wonderful. Thank you. Great job.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.